regional head of ANCOP, which is answering the cry of the poor. The regional head for Southeast region for North Carolina, South Carolina, and Tennessee. And he's been working at Wells Fargo for the past 20 years as an IT professional. Brothers and sisters, let us welcome this evening for our sixth talk, Loving Thy Neighbor, Brother Jake Miranda.
Good evening, brothers and sisters. While Brother Richard is setting up the PowerPoint, I was jokingly telling him a while ago that the last 2 weeks you got like professional speakers, right? This week you got amateurs. but amateur speakers sometimes gives you a little bit of perks, and you will see later. But one is, see, we all have PowerPoint, right? So, once again, good evening, brothers and sisters, and welcome to our session number 6 for our Christian Life program. And I have my cheat sheet here. And I'm so glad that despite your busy schedule, you are still all here with us tonight. And once again, as Brother Ian said, I'm Jake Miranda, and I will be your servant speaker to deliver our Lord's message for our last topic for tonight. But before I proceed, I would like to first introduce to you my loving wife, Marie Miranda, and also my youngest son, Jeremy Miranda. As Brother Ian mentioned, my wife and I have been married for 28 years, and we've been blessed with 2 children, which actually they're already young adults. And we have been with this community of Couples for Christ for the past 23 years. So that made us 5 years in married life when we joined the community. And I can still remember when we attended our first Christian Life program. We were just like you, doing it week after week, but this time we did it for 13 weeks. And we did it in Sydney, Australia. Imagine, brothers and sisters, during that time, that was 1995, Couples for Christ was already present in Australia. And in fact, right now, Couples for Christ is actually in more than 160 countries in the world. And imagine how many, Christian Life program right now going on. It might be several that are happening because Couples for Christ main thrust is evangelization, right? So, being a member of Couples for Christ, our daughter and son grew up becoming members of Kids for Christ, Youth for Christ, and now they're in Singles for Christ. My eldest daughter, which is, she's now an optometrist. She just got married this year, last May. So, I expect that our family will have another member of Couples for Christ soon, hopefully. My youngest son, Jeremy, who graduated college 3 years ago, has been serving as one of the 10 SFC mission volunteers here in the U.S., helping out in the evangelization and other programs of the SFC community. This community really helped our family to be closer to the Lord, and we truly felt the love, joy, and blessings it gave us from raising a young family up to the present time. And of course, we are now looking forward and very excited for what it has in store for us in the future. This community will never leave you alone. Um, as long as you are alive. It has what we call, the from womb to tomb ministry. You name your status in life right now, and we have you over here, right? So that's why, brothers and sisters, being a member of a Caucus for Christ is really a wonderful and exciting one. Amen? So, our topic for tonight is entitled Loving Your Neighbor. And to give more perspective on this topic in relation to the whole Christian Life program, Brother Ian has summarized on what we have finished and learned so far, right? Module 1, Talk 1 to 4. He taught us all the facts about Christianity and faith. And Brother Richard just delivered the talk number 5, which is about the Christian ideal and loving God. Now, this topic will pick it up from there and will show us what Christian love is all about and how to live with it. And in other words, Module 1 is about facts, and Module 2 is about how we practice and live it out, these facts in our everyday life. Loving your neighbor is one of the most important commandments that our Lord Jesus Christ proclaimed. It is the second of all commandments that He wants us to follow and live out in our daily life. Of course, the first one is the talk that we just heard from Brother Richard, right? About loving God. These two are the two greatest commandments, and they go hand in hand. Meaning, we cannot love God without loving our neighbor. Or we cannot just love our neighbor and not loving God. So let's take a look in detail how Christian love should work in our life. Let's visit one by one all the characteristics that St. Paul gave us on how we apply it in loving our neighbor. So, St. Paul gave us 14 characteristics of Christian love. While reading them one by one, let's take this opportunity to examine ourselves if we truly practice them in our everyday life, or do we have it in us? Number 1, to love others is to be patient. We should be slow to anger and give ample allowance for the shortcoming of others. Do we have it in us, brothers and sisters? Are we patient? To love others is to be kind. We should avoid an attitude of criticism and have a posture and speech that is uplifting and encouraging. It's nice, right, brothers and sisters? We should have it this all. To love others is not to be jealous of others. We should not covet what others have or begrudge another for possessing something we do not have. Do we have this one in us, brothers and sisters? Number 4, to love others is not to be pompous or inflated. We should be humble and conscious of our own unworthiness rather than our merit. Number 5, to love others is not to be rude. We should accord honor and respect to one another. Praise them if they do well, and console them if they do badly. I think this is one of the things that we encounter in our everyday life, right? Even a lot of us, probably even if we are not rude, accidentally sometimes, we may offend some people. So, are we not be rude in ourselves, brothers and sisters? Number 6, to love others is not to be a self-seeking. We should not focus on having our rights met, but focus rather on our duties to others. Do we have it, brothers and sisters? To love others is to not be quick-tempered. We should master our emotions and feelings and should be slow to frown but quick to smile. Right? We always love seeing people smiling. I hope you participants, whenever you come in, I'm sure probably our brothers and sisters are greeting you with a smile, right? That's actually one of the things that also I admire in this community. People are happy and we're not allowed to frown here. To love others is not to brood over injury. We should not hold grudges or resentments, but be forgiving and understanding of the weakness of others. Do we have it? Do we have it in us, brothers and sisters? To love others is not rejoice over wrongdoing. We should always seek the good in others, even with people that we find difficult to deal with. To love others is to rejoice in truth. We should always be sincere and honest and tell the truth to one another. Do we have it in us, brothers and sisters? I'm hoping you're counting your yes. Number 11, we're almost there. To love others is to have forbearance. We should patiently and humbly bear insults, injuries, and disappointments without taking counteraction. Do we have it in us? To love others is to have trust and to believe in the best about other people. We should have positive attitude towards others, always seeking their good side. To love others is to have hope. We should have a positive attitude towards life and other people and remain joyful and peaceful under any circumstance. And lastly, brothers and sisters, to love others is to have endurance. We should develop an ability to bear things, not with passive resignation, but with triumphant attitude. So, brothers and sisters, how do we do? Did we answer yes on every? Who among us actually answered yes on all of our 14 characteristics? Anybody? Wow. It's hard, right? It sounds like simple, but we are so guilty that a lot of them, we're not really practicing in our daily life. But of course, we are trying to, as we get reminded, that's why, once we see them, we tend to get reminded in our daily life. Our next slide is a video. See? Amateur speakers, another perk. You're gonna get a video. Our next slide is a video that I would like to share with you that embodies the majority of the characteristics that we just read. It is a touching, short video about great humility, compassion, and kindness.
A simple fisherman spotted a tourist and his wife stuck in the river sludge. He rushed to help them and first took their expensive camera and shooting gear to the dry part of the area. Could have easily taken everything. As we see, they were completely helpless. They couldn't have done nothing. They couldn't have stopped him whatsoever. But his virtuous soul was aiming higher than that. He returned trying to save them, but it was hardly easy. The man was old, heavy, and deeply sunk in that mud. Many human beings, unfortunately, if we're in that young man's shoes, they would have taken advantage of the situation. But this young man knew that lending a helping hand to a person in need is a fortune, and that humility is an ornament. Then we see he decided to take away the old lady's belongings so they don't get ruined by the dirt. Again, he could have taken the bag with whatever in it. Here he returns again to resume his rescue mission. And this move, in this particular moment here, is by God astonishing. See how beautiful humanity can be. See the marvelousness of selflessness. He ultimately used his own body as a slab for them to step on. He was not thinking about who these people were, what is their origin, what brought them to my country. I think it's in him by instinct that whoever saved the soul, it should be regarded as though he had saved all mankind, as the Quran says. And it shows that he felt towards them as if they were his own mother and father, regardless of race, color, and religion. And as much as his body was soiled in that sludge, his soul must have been elevating high in the sky. For that's indeed a noble deed. And now he made it. Thank you, son. Thank you, ma'am. And that was it. Did he bargain? Did he wait for something in return? A commission, maybe? Impossible. Not this man. This guy is different. Different to those the world is all about materialistic gain. Now, his humanitarian mission is accomplished. He left with grace and clear, satisfied conscience.
Isn't it wonderful, brothers and sisters? And I think the different characteristics that we showed, I think a lot of them actually applies to what that fisherman did for the couple, right? You can see the couple. They were just initially. I thought, how come they didn't even thank him? Or I think they were astonished with what has just happened, with what that fisherman did for them. So I have another perk for you, brothers and sisters. Usually, I share a joke before I start my talk, but this time I have another story for you that basically still applies to what the characteristics of love. So there was this airplane that is about to go down, and there were 4 passengers inside it. One is a heart surgeon, the other one is a rocket scientist, and the third guy is Pope Francis, and the fourth one is